Hello, my name's Jack, and like everybody around the world, I am a huge Pink Floyd fan, and today I am going to tell you all my top 12 albums from obviously 12 countdown to my most favourite. So, my most hated to my most favourite. So, reigning in on number 12 is The Final Cut. I hate the entirety of the album. This is an impressionistic raging demonstrated from Roger Waters' experience and himself, as from this point he has tried to take full ownership within the band and consequently partly sacking Nick Mason and doing so with Richard Wright. So to me, I really do not like this album, and it very much is a definition to the name Final Cut. It speaks what it is saying in that sense wholesomely. And number 11 is Animals, with the exception of Sheep, which is a great song personally. I enjoy the communistical ideology behind it, but again, this album is an impressionistic regime demonstrated from Roger Waters, and it's very much far away from the normal sound that Pink Floyd normally demonstrated. In number 10 is More. Personally, I find this album musically spacious in the sense that since I'm trying to define their sound, and prior to this, it's a little patchy, and trying to find good music within is a struggle, with the exception of Summerline, Green is the Colour, and Up the Khyber, which notably are good songs. In number 9 is Atom Heart Mother. Like most people would say, and I think this album was not the best that Pink Floyd released. Obviously, it is a bit sporadic in a sense, and as much I appreciate the explorational side of it, it is a little bit of a mishmash, with the exception of songs like If and Summer '68, which are good songs. In number 8 is Obscured by Clouds. I find this album very much the foundations to the sound they created with Meddle, but again it is a little patchy, with the notable exception of tracks such as Obscured by Clouds, which has an amazing bass line from Roger Waters, and Childhood's End with David Gilmour's guitar playing in it is awesome. Apart from that, it's not great personally. I can find better albums apart from Pink Floyd, prior to that. In number 7 is Momentary Lapse of Reason, with the exception of Learning to Fly and On the Turning Away, which David Gilmour brings a more regretful and, shall I say, cynical side to his lyricism. But apart from that, the album is rather boring at most times. You get all these piano solos, you get these guitar solos. Yeah, they're great, but you kind of want a bit more togetherness. With the guitar playing and with the piano playing and the drum playing. You don't really find that with this album, personally. And number 6 is The Wall, with the exception of Mother, Another Brick in the Wall, Part 1 and 3 in brackets, Comfortable and Hey You. The whole musical affair with this album is very much an educational rebellion to the experience from Roger Waters, to which it becomes a self-indulgent album about Roger Waters and his autobiography about his life. I kind of feel like it's an affair with the album and Roger Waters as opposed to Pink Floyd as a whole, and it's very much selfish in that sense, and it's kind of reining in with Final Cut as my 12th album. It's very much terminological in that sense. The albums are very similar, in how he takes ownership. In number 5 is A Source Full of Secrets. It's a great album with songs such as Source Full of Secrets, obviously, with Rick Wright's opening piano to Nick Mason's ferocity in his drumming was amazing to listen to all throughout. Jog Buttons Blues, with Syd Barrett's final contribution to the band, makes for an eerie encounter as it depicts his awareness to not being in the band no longer, to which he feels outcasted and from the band just very much feels outcasted, which is actually quite sad to witness, because he is very much a founder member of the band, and to see him be outcasted in the way he did was very much depressive in a sense, and it wasn't nice to sort of hear. But it wasn't nice to hear, but it was nice to hear him become aware of the situation. So it's very much subdivisional in that sense. In number 4 was Wish You Were Here is an amazing album throughout, with songs such as Showing You Crazy Diamond with Vic Wright's gentle piano playing to David Gilmour's timely guitar playing is just amazingly synced together. Have It To Go was terrible throughout. I just don't even want to comment. It's just fucking shit. I'm sorry. Sorry for the swear words, but it isn't great. Wish You Here is a remarkable piece of music. And to me, it just talks about the very generality of life and the experiences we go through as humans. Number 3 is Dark Side of the Moon, which is a genius album in places, with such abundances such as time, breathe, money, and any colour you like, personally, where they just talk about life and the preciousness of it all, and especially money, and it just talks about the lightness of having it and the lengths that people would go to get it. It's just a brilliant idea. And Breathe is just brilliant as well, as it talks about appreciating the earth we live on and not being afraid to embrace it. It is musical magic, personally. So going on swiftly, so we've got on to my final 2. So it's going to be a bit of a drum roll, but obviously you guys can guess what's going on with the albums covered so far. So in number 2 is The Division Bell. Obviously there's going to be a few eyebrows raised here, because obviously this is more of a poetic piece from David Gilmour. But for me, it is something I can relate to very strongly, with the exception of Lost for Words, Take It Back, Poles Apart, and Marooned, which are songs I absolutely love, mainly for the lyrics in it, and its musical dynamic that it creates within the sensation. It has a philosophical feel to it, which is something David Gilmour has failed to show in Momentary Lapse of Reason, but boy did he show it in Division Bell. It is an amazing album, personally. I well up, and admittedly so, but for me it says a lot, with life experiences and so on and so forth. Number 1 is Pipe at the Gates of Dawn, and very much an obscure one, which is the 1965 first recordings from Pink Floyd. So this is their first EP. Both of them are masterpieces, and I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on this, but they are masterpieces in musical terms, with songs such as Lucy Lee, which has more of a folky and yet emotionally refined soundbite from Syd Barrett's voice, and the lyrics is "Leave me when I tell you to leave." That there's songs such as like Lucifer's Sound, which listeners just get confused by. The inward and outward sound of Roger Waters' bass is just pure class, and the lyrical side of it is just beautifully accompanied. It is awesome. See I'm Gonna Play Again is a beautiful piece of music which talks about a man stealing women's underwear. Obviously, we all know that, which to me is kind of a natural instinct, given how men love them. That's just a natural instinct. I mean, when it first came out, people got a bit sort of bewildered by the idea of a man stealing people's underwear. They just thought it wasn't, the rock and roll feel that was being depicted, with the Rolling Stones, Pink Floyd, so on and so forth. But for me, I thought it was great. It was very witty, and it was very bold, but great in that sense. See Emily Play is a beautiful piece of music which talks about sorry, I just said that. So moving on swiftly, so going on songs like Matilda Mother is again amazing, and it just talks about a king who once ruled a land and the experiences he went through, during which it gives it a folky edge, but I like the explorational side of it, the fact that they're willing to think outside the box, which is great. Again, with songs such as Scarecrow, which to me gives it a folky edge, but for me, again, it is quintessentially folk, but more agriculturally refined. Personally, it is folk down to the ground, more so than Fairport Convention, personally. But the fact that they're just talking about a scarecrow and the experiences he goes through just sitting in the ground, that's just, who sings about that? It's very much unorthodox in the way it's portrayed, the way it's sort of delivered. It's great. So these are my 12 to 1 album rankings in Pink Floyd. Do share a like or comment below. Thanks a lot. Bye.